What's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is William Bootsy Blandon. This is going to be a new intro video for my channel. So I apologize for all you current members that have been watching me for a while. Let's start at the beginning. My name's, again, William Bootsy Blanding, but that wasn't my birth name. I was actually born Wilbert Blanding Jr. I changed it in 2012. I didn't want to be a junior. I didn't want to be named after my father. There's a long backstory with that, but basically I got teased and picked on a lot through my school years for the name. And then I didn't particularly like my father, who I just happened to be named after. So I changed the Wilbert to William. The Bootsy actually is a name that I grew up with due to my grandmother. She named me, she called me Bootsy. The name kind of stuck growing up in the housing complex in Norwalk, Connecticut, where I'm from. I grew up in Colonial Village housing complex, and most of the kids growing up called me Bootsy. Later in the retail world, everybody just called me Will, so it just made sense to transition from Wilbert to William. A lot of people didn't even know that my first name changed. They just see the Bootsy and they automatically gravitate to that. That's exactly why I did it. It was actually spelled with the I-E. Later, I changed it to the Y as kind of a shout out to, there was an entertainer years ago, back in the 70s, called Bootsy Collins. And ironically, his name also is William Bootsy Collins. So I thought that was a nice little shout out to him, spelling it with the Y. And I made that my legal middle name because I never had a middle name. I got two younger siblings. They both had middle names. I didn't. Shout out to Sean David Blanding and James Edward Blanding, my two younger siblings. How I got into entrepreneurship, I think started years ago, but it wasn't until my last retail job. My last retail job was Bed Bath & Beyond. That I was just so fed up with the everyday grind and the everyday struggle. And I admit I wasn't the best employee. According to most of the higher up supervisors and managers, I was slow, but reliable. So I was known to be slow, but reliable. I came to work every day, but they said I was slow. And I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I was slow on purpose. Those times I definitely could have sped up, because ironically my last year at Bed Bath & Beyond, not the Nog store, but I got later transferred to the Farmington store. My last year I was probably the fastest I've ever been in my life. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if it was the motivation that I was leaving or what it was, but they hired a new supervisor and me and her just clicked. She was really cool. She was I thought she was kind of attractive. Not that that matters, but I thought she was kind of attractive. Obviously younger than me, because by this time I'm already like 47. And once you hit like 45 and you're not a manager in retail, you're like over the hill. You know, if you're a manager, it's okay if you're old. But for some reason, if you're hitting that 45 mark and you're just a regular retail associate, you better start thinking about your future. You either gotta step up and become a manager, which the reasons why I didn't do that is I saw the game for what it was, guys. I started questioning some of the retail managers in Bath & Beyond. And one that to this day I'm cool with. I want to be politically correct. I don't know if he's Indian or Pakistani. But to this day, me and him speak. And I asked him one day, I was like, how much do you get paid? Da, da, da. And come to find out that 2 weeks that I was working, I was doing a lot of overtime. And he told me what his salary was, because all the managers got obviously a salary. But because they put in so many hours, some of them 60, 70, even 80 hours, that if you broke it down hourly, I actually made more than some of the managers. The slow guy, the guy you call slow. In Bed Bath & Beyond, I chose to be in the receiving department. I chose to. It was a strategy, because I knew by being in receiving, at least I wouldn't have to communicate with the everyday customers. It wasn't until later, when I got transferred to Farmington, that they forced me to be a salesperson. Because I guess that's their goal, was to force me to do it, and they did it. And I dodged being a cashier for years. They forced me to learn how to be a cashier. But I had a plan, guys. I had a plan, because I always knew I was going to be back in the business. Because long before retail, years ago, I was in the wireless cell phone industry. I worked for a guy for years. We became friends. We did have a falling out, but out of that chaos, I started my own cell phone business. Back in '98, I was still selling pagers, believe it or not. I transitioned to only phones. I chose to step out of that business because I didn't know about corporate credit, which is where we get into shortly on why I created the business I'm in now. I knew that corporate credit was the future. Had I had known about corporate credit back in '98 when I had that store, and I dropped out about 2001, had I just known how to keep my own personal credit good, go after corporate credit, I would have still been in business or sold the business. I actually handed the keys to somebody and said, here, because it was worthless. It was only a name. And he failed as well. So the goal I had with this channel was I wanted to show entrepreneurs a different way. I'm not telling anybody to quit your job, because truth be told, I left Bed Bath & Beyond too soon. I think I want to say I left in 2017. I think I left too soon. I convinced my brother, because he was either going to get fired or quit his job. He had a good job at Trader Joe's. I convinced him to let's liquidate his 401k and start a business. I already had Shania Business LLC. So this was a whole different business. I had to start with him just to get his funds. It was about 60K. Fast forward, things happened. He wasn't bringing in any money, but he was spending out too much money. I was the only one trying to do any active income, but it wasn't enough. And on top of that, we're paying all the bills. It was a disaster. Then the worst thing happened. My grandmother died around about the same time. So at that point, we didn't really care about business, and we just spending money and wasting money. I hired some girl, and she was basically scamming me because she wasn't producing. She was supposed to help me produce and create some content for the channel. She scammed me and just, right about Christmas time, decided she's going on vacation and she don't need me. Meanwhile, she was scamming me the whole time because she made me take down all the content that had her in it. This is my journey. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. Just follow me for a minute. So fast forward, I became an Uber driver. I tried to go back in the workforce. I really tried, guys. I started with the community center because I thought, if I help, disabled kids and stuff like that, maybe I'll feel like I'm doing something for the community. I hated it. The people had disabilities there, but a lot of them were very violent. Call me a punk, but I'm not there to restrain grown adults. I wasn't feeling the industry. I left that and moved right into a group home. Guys, the paperwork and the tests, and I felt like I was going back to college. I mean, not that I ever went to college, but I felt like I was going to college for the first time. It was just so much. I was like, this ain't for me, you know. And the guys, one of the people that I had to take care of one day, he went to the bathroom by himself, and there was shit everywhere in the car. And I was like, I can't do this. But I did try. I tried to go back to the workforce. Fast forward, while I was at the group home still, I figured out about government funding. So around about the same time, well, actually before that, I set up a holding company. I hired a company. They didn't do everything they were supposed to, but I set up a holding company. Meanwhile, I'm learning about getting the government funding because of the pandemic, you know. So before I even got to the group home, I was starting to learn about the grant stuff in 2019. 2019, I was an Uber driver. After all the depression, we spent all that money, I became an Uber driver. Uber kind of saved me, guys. Believe it or not, becoming an Uber driver humbled me down. It made me realize you don't necessarily have to work in retail, but you gotta create some type of income. So I became a full-time Uber driver, destroyed my vehicle. Based on those 2019 earnings, I did file my taxes as an Uber driver for 2018 and 19. 2019, when the pandemic, they were basing the pandemic funds on 2019 earnings, which I did about 36 with Uber. So all this government funding I amounted from the EIDL, PPP, I got just from being an Uber driver. So that funded my sole proprietorship because it was just a sole proprietorship doing Uber. But remember, I had a holding company. And the whole time I had a holding company for a year, I'm creating ways to put money in. I created my holding company course to put money into my holding company. I was doing Zetegrity to put money in my holding company. You know, recently I started doing World Crypto Life to put money in my holding company. So all along, even my PPP, I got my PPP for my sole proprietorship, but I actually put it in my holding company. I took it in as payroll. So the government or SBA can't say I'm doing nothing wrong. I took it in as payroll, but then I paid it back out to my holding company. You know, it was a little bit over $7,000. So the whole time I'm being loyal to structuring my holding company. Fast forward to today, I'm not bragging. I'm just giving you a round ballpark figure. I've got probably between grants and loans, I probably got close to $100K in about 2 years' time from the pandemic. So even though people have been struggling this time, and I really feel bad saying this, but this pandemic has been the most profitable time in my entire life, because not only did I get funds to maintain my living expenses, but it gave me time to work on my craft, which is going back into media and becoming a media company. You know, and fast forward to today, I'm actually creating a new company separate from my holding company. My holding company is C Corp. I did it with Navy Federal. I talk a lot about Navy Federal because that's where my holding company is. But this time around, I'm going to do it an LLC to create a real traditional media company, like where it'll look legitimate to the average person that doesn't know about media company. I want to do a real traditional website, phone number, everything set up like 100% like a media company. Better than I structured the holding company, because I hired some idiot and they did some things wrong in the beginning process. I'm going to do this 100% correctly myself, because this is going to eventually turn into my S Corp. So it's got to be structured properly. It don't even got to be 100% perfect on the articles and all that stuff, because it's just a basic LLC right now. It doesn't become an S Corp until I make about 40 to 50K, and then I'll transition and change all the paperwork when I change it to an S Corp anyway. So you can actually use one of these filing companies and do this. It doesn't have to be a law firm. You could be talking a couple $100 to get it set up, but I'm going to recommend you go to the real law firm when you go to convert it to an S Corp. That's when you need the real law firm. Why am I doing all this? Why am I telling you guys about my whole life? Because I want you to follow my journey. I want you guys to see that a regular dude, you know, from a small town like Norwalk, Connecticut, could do this stuff. You know, from the projects. My mom was a drug addict. My dad later became a drug abuser and alcoholic due to probably the stress of being with my mother, and died a bum in New York City. Instead of sitting there crying about my life, even though I was picked on all my life, you know, I've been called big nose, dark skin. You can't tell, but I'm really dark skinned. This is just good lighting. I realized that that fuels me. So instead of getting upset and curled up in the corner, you know what I mean? Y'all probably thought as a little kid I was a bitch, but that was really a lion inside. Because I took up all that bent up anger and I used it for something positive, which is creating something bigger than myself. I feel like a fucking dragon going in, you know, into this business world, because that's how motivated I am and ready to take on the world. So I love when people doubt me, because the doubters and the haters make me work harder. So if you're an underdog and you're just a regular person and you want to learn how to create a business, you want to learn how to create a revenue stream, you want to really understand how it feels to be an independent business owner, this is the channel for you. Now, I'm a middle-aged man, but I really think some of you young people can still relate to this, you know, and it's only going to be beneficial to you, because the earlier you get started with this stuff, the better. Now, I noticed with the pandemic, my demographics have been closer to my age. Like, I'm starting to see between 40 and 55 are starting to watch the channel. That's because the old heads, they know something you young guys aren't thinking about. The future. Why is it the older we get, we think about the future more, when it should be the other way around? When you're young, you have more time to think about the future. But you guys want stuff tomorrow. I want it tomorrow. Starting a business, it's Glendon Cameron said this actually. Savage Finance, the corporate citizen. He said, being an entrepreneur is not going to happen fast how you want it. It's not. It feels like it's happening overnight for me, even though I've been at this, guys, for like 5 years. I've had this channel for years. And it wasn't until the pandemic I started getting the views to catapult me to start getting a lot more subscribers. It wasn't until like 2019 I started really getting people watching my channel. But I've had the channel for like 5 years. So if you want to start a new YouTube channel, just get started. Use your cell phone on your camera, on your phone. Most of these smartphone cameras are just as good as digital cameras. I'm using a cell phone right now for this video. Just get started. Now, going forward, I hope you guys continue watching my journey. I hope you subscribe to the channel. I am going to talk about several different type of money-making streams. We're probably going to be talking about mainly affiliate marketing. World Crypto Life is network marketing. We're going to be talking about creating your own revenue streams, like your own courses. I have my own holding company course. If you want to get me on the phone, purchase the course, email me the best time to call you back, and we can sit on the phone and just talk strategies for hours, guys. This is the type of value I'm trying to bring you guys. We could talk about strategies for hours. Nobody else is offering that on their channel, not for the small amount of money I'm asking for. But you got to get the holding company course. Get the course. Even if you don't want a holding company, get the course, because it's going to have some strategies in there for overall business. Why do I love the holding company strategy so much? Anonymity. It's going to help you save in taxes. You know, the entities themselves don't save in taxes. It's how you structure them, how you set this stuff up. It's going to save you in taxes. I'm going to talk about something nobody else is talking about. Despite what you think, it's not only S Corps that provide you with some good strategies. This is probably the reason why I'm going to have multiple entities, guys. By the time I'm done, which is probably going to be the next 10 years of building entities and creating businesses, I'm probably going to have every type of entity there is, including a nonprofit. And God willing, a tech company that we take public. So this is the type of strategies I'm talking about, and I'm actively doing this stuff. So a lot of YouTubers, yeah, they talk about doing this stuff, but I'm doing it as we go. But at least you see I'm doing it. I actually have an active holding company. I'm actively on payroll now as an employee for my company. For the first time in my life, I'm finally on payroll. I'm really an employee of my C Corp holding company in Navy Federal. That's providing anonymity. You don't actually know I own it. That's not going to be the company I promote. Now this new company is going to be the company I brand myself. It's going to be Bland Drake. I already got the domain for it. That's the company I'm going to brand myself. It's going to kind of not own anything for anybody to sue me. Under that, I might start the car rental business. So that in itself is going to be another holding company. Now, my first holding company in Navy Federal, that company is just job is to collect money, any means necessary. Just collect money right now to, make sure my paycheck is covered. This new corp doesn't have to really make any money in the beginning. Its job is just going to be to market. That's the job of the media company, just to continue to market. So now as I create new products, new services, I got a marketing arm to promote them. Now, of course, Shania Business is what started it all, this channel. It's no longer an LLC, but this channel will also be owned by probably my holding company. I was thinking the other way around, but I probably should have a YouTube channel for every major brand. And then it kind of, if it's monetized, like if Shania Business, if I ever get it 100% monetized and bringing in ad revenue, that'll help putting funds in my holding company. So I'll put that under my holding company. Bland Drake, the media company, I already started a channel for it. I didn't launch it yet. I'm not going to probably promote it from here because I want people organically to go to that new channel. I'm trying to weave out the haters and see if I have different channels with different diversity of subscribers, how it functions. Because Glendon did this. He had, it's considered the corporate citizen now. He keeps changing the name. But he started Savage Finance, and he organically built a different crowd over there on that channel. And it's actually making him more money than his old channel, if that makes sense. And I got a strategy on how I'm going to make Bland Drake, the channel, blow up. We might do a podcast for it. We might do some other things under it. But that's where we're going with this. But this video just really give you an insight of who I am, what I'm trying to do on this channel. No, I'm not a Yankee fan, but people love to give me Yankee apparel. We're just here on a path, on a journey. And I really believe, thanks to the pandemic, I'm finally at the point where 2022, especially, guys, it's gonna look so bright for me. As of this current time, my daughter is pregnant with her first child, so I'm going to be a grandfather very soon. Probably even by the time you can see this video. Like literally, it could be any time this month, early next month. I think she's due technically towards the end of this month, but could be any time now. So I'm going to be a grandfather soon, which drives me to want to work harder and make at least one company a six-figure business so we can go to the next level. I know once we get to the six figures, I know I'm going to the next level because I have everything in place. You know, I have all the accounting stuff. I have all the partnerships. I have everything I need to build one day a company that I can take public and make millions of dollars. I truly believe that, guys. I truly believe you're going to be watching this channel one day. I may be 10 years older. I don't know. But I truly believe I'm going to get to the point where at least one of my companies is $1 million company. Keep watching. Keep supporting. You guys have been following me. I thank you for going on this journey with me. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll catch you guys next time.